A great way of getting the best out of the property market.
And lots of people are looking at the auction houses around the UK.
So let's see who bagged a bargain on today's programme.
Coming up, I really hope these developers in Wales aren't talking about their auction experience.
Tried it,
didn't like it, and that's it.
And in Dawley Telford, there's no time to waste. 6 weeks from this to finish.
The minute you walk out, my people are walking in.
Though a little run down, I find there's a lot to like about this terrace in London.
I quite like it open plan. It does give the feeling of a fantastic space.
All these properties have been sold at auction. We'll find out who bought them and what they paid when they went under the hammer.
Sold 273.
This is Tony Pandy in Mid Glamorgan, South Wales, once an industrial coal mining town, and I'm here today in its central shopping area.
Well, the property I'm here to see is just on the high street, and a very interesting opportunity it would appear to be on paper. £68,000 was the guide price for 2 shops and 3 flats. Oh, and a cellar. Wow. So into the first of the shops, about 60 square metres, so a good size, not in bad condition. I mean, obviously a bit of shop fitting required. Previously, I understand, a clothes shop, and that would potentially influence what it was in the future. There's certainly a restriction which says you can't have it serving food or drink, which is going to limit your potential renter, if you like. It's not in bad nick, and it all comes down to what you need to do to turn it back into a rental machine. But bear in mind, this is only the start of what was quite an expansive lot.
Yes, this was just the first of 2 commercial properties that come with this lot. So let's pop next door and take a look around at the second.
So into the second shop, and similar size to the first, in similar kind of state of repair as well. A few signs of damp on that wall. But in here, access, sort of, if you want to plummet, to one of the other really exciting things about this whole development, and that's this cellar area here. I don't know what it's like down there. Poke about, it looks pretty big to me. It all comes back to, before I started work on this project, the first thing I would want is an architect to come in here and actually show me what I've got. Do proper drawings, including the heights, because you've got a big drop off at the back, access, and then start thinking about what you could potentially make of this place.
So that's 2 commercial properties and a cellar that looks like it could be developed. Sounds pretty good to me. Ah, so there is. How could I forget? There's still 3 residential properties up the stairs. Time to go and take a look.
So the first of 3 flats, 1 bedroomed. Bedroom there. You've got a really nicely renovated bathroom there, and then into this room here, which is obviously your kitchen stroke living room. Views across the hills out the windows, so that's good. It's, you know, all in all, it's not in bad condition. The other 2 flats are currently tenanted, so I can't go in there. But the good news is that they're bringing in money already. This really is turning out to be a bit of a money spinner.
Having income coming in from the 2 flats already rented is certainly a bonus. But what I'd like to throw in is how difficult will it be to get commercial tenants for the downstairs properties? So we asked along a local estate agent to give us his opinion on the area.
The likelihood of these shops being let is 50-50. Now, on this high street, you've got established shops which stay. You've got the ones that come and go. I wouldn't say it's just a lick of paint. I would say there's a bit more than that to get this ready to rent. And I should imagine you've got a chance of renting it.
My mama told me you better shop around.
So even with a good refurb, the expert thinks that there's a 50-50 chance it will rent. On the other hand, he also said to us that the 5 properties could rent for between £300 and £375 per calendar month. If we take the conservative value, that would be a monthly income of 1,500 quid. That would give you a yield of 26% if you bought the property for the guide price of 68,000. Wow! What about sales valuations?
If you were selling the complete unit and they were done up to a decent standard, nothing amazing, just a decent standard, the flat and the shop, you'd probably ask between 100 to 110,000.
Well, 3 flats, 2 shops, a cellar. This is definitely a mixed-use opportunity and, I think, a potential gold mine. Yes. Let's see who spotted it when it went under the hammer.
Lot number 28 is a large commercial stroke residential property. Guided at 68. Start me somewhere near, will you? Make it 65,000, somebody? Put your hand up. It's got to be £60,000 to start me. Shout a figure then if you want to. Make it 50 then if you like. £50,000, thank you. 50, as always, 2 hands. Give you a 50, sir. 51 more, thank you. 51. 52 now. 52. 52. 52. 53. 54.
Despite the slow start, the bids began coming in thick and fast. We rejoined the bidding at 70,000.
70. 71. 72. 73. 74. 75. 75. 76. 76, no. At 75. At 75, then on my right-hand side, for the first time, at £75,000 then for the second time, at 75,000, one more if you like, 76, 76, 77, do you want to? 77, 76 I've got, 76 and a half then if you like, 76 and a half, 77 sir. One more, £500 might buy it, you never know. 77 and a half back to you. 77, he shakes his head. At £77,000 here then, by the aisle for the first time, second time, third and last time, £77,000. There you go, that extra £500 is worth it.
And the successful bidders were Martin and Jackie. Originally from Kent, this married couple have lived in Wales for 5 years and have developed and sold property in the past. However, they've been on a bit of a hiatus recently. So I met up with them to find out what tempted them to part with £77,000 and get back into the property game.
Jackie, Martin, good to meet you both.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Congratulations. Tell me why you wanted to buy this, well, opportunity.
We've been looking around in the valleys for quite a bit, mainly at houses. And this one come up and we decided it was quite a good opportunity for the money and what we thought we could get it for. We'd never really done anything with shops before. We'd done plenty of houses and things. So we thought we'd get the most return on our money, really. That's more what it was about.
Right. Is this something you do then?
Not now. We used to. We did quite a few buying and selling and living in the properties as we were doing it. But then we took on a stable yard, and that's what we've been doing since.
Stable?
A stable yard, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How many, with your own horses or just a place that you look after other people?
It's about 35 horses there.
Wow.
Quite a big centre. And I'm going to run that while Martin comes and sorts this out.
So that's sort of taking your eye off the property development sort of ball for a little bit?
Yeah, definitely, really. I suppose the market sort of went downhill a little bit sort of 5 years ago, so it was just something else we got into, really.
OK. And what do you do?
I'm a trades a plasterer originally.
Oh, OK, that's useful.
Yeah, not with horses so much.
Can you ride?
No.
Oh, right, that's ironic. Surrounded by all these horses in beautiful countryside, you can't ride.
It was more Jackie's sort of thing, obviously.
Right.
Really, so.
You never thought about learning?
Yeah, but, you know.
Tried it,
didn't like it, and that's it.
Ponies and properties, quite a combination. The plan is for Jackie to continue to manage their equine estate while Martin will take the reins of the development. But can they turn this into a stable income?
So, an interesting opportunity here then. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Obviously, 2 of the flats are already let. One of them just needs a bit of tidying up and then we get that let as well. With the shops, generally in Tony Pandy, it seems to be quite a few of the shops are shut. We will advertise them to try and get them let, but the main thing, I think, because of the size of the shops, and there's quite large basements as well, I'd look at converting part of the shops into maybe more flats and going along that sort of route if we can.
Now, the local authority might have a bit of an issue about the closing of facilities, such as shops, in the high street especially. Have you approached them and sort of broached the subject?
Yeah, I've looked into it, and it's... I wouldn't close the shop completely. I would more half the floor area of the shop and convert the back of it. So that'd be more the thing. So the shop would still stay there, it'd just be smaller.
Martin plans to halve each shop and use the rear half along with the cellars to create 2 maisonette flats, accessible using the rear footpath. I think it's a clever idea giving the couple 5 flats and 2 smaller shops. But it doesn't really matter what I think. It'll be down to whether local planning will allow it.
So, on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you that you'll be able to rent the shops out?
Or 1, if I'm honest.
OK. And in their reduced size?
Much more likely, because the rent would be smaller.
Yeah.
That's the thing, I think. But even if it doesn't, and we have to keep it as shops, then it's still a good return, we think, for what we paid for it. So, yeah, we're really sort of happy with what we got.
Have any idea of a budget for what you're planning?
£2.50.
£2.50.
No, it's not for the actual flats themselves. There's not a great deal to do. It's probably a few £100 really, just tidying up
to sort out the ones.
To sorting them out.
And the boiler we've got to put in.
Yeah,
Put
and
a price.
Yeah, and then it looks like Flat Free hasn't got a boiler, and so probably looking at about another £1,000 or so for that, I should imagine, for bits and pieces there.
Right, and then the conversion. Give me an idea of what you've said.
Absolutely no idea until we'd get plans in and that sort of thing, really. I mean, there's a lot of work here to do, so I really wouldn't have a figure off the top of my head.
Right.
And it wouldn't be something we'd be doing this year anyway. It'd be something for sort of next year, really.
OK, that's the sort of time scale.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you.
Right, cheers.
So this property could prove to be a very good investment. With a budget for the immediate works of £1,500, there's lots of options for Martin and Jackie to mull over. Will they convert the basement, and will they manage to rent out the shops? You can find out later in the show.
I've got a quiz for you. Who was the first man to swim the English Channel? If you said Captain Matthew Webb, you would be right. Well done. But did you know this hero of the Victorian age was born in Dorley, a small town just a few miles from Telford? He was so well thought of, his monument stands in the High Street with an inscription, "Nothing great is easy." Legends suggest that a pig stood up against a wall to watch the parade in Webb's honour that was held on his return. It may have taken Captain Webb 22 hours to reach France, but here in Dorley, I'm just 10 minutes away from Telford town centre. Now, sadly, there's no pig on a wall to greet me, but there is this, our property. It's a 2-bed masonette, and it has a guide price of £50,000 plus. Let's take a look and get out the cold. A quick look at the exterior tells me that it's a pretty solid property on the outside, but will the inside be as good? What I have noticed is there's off-street parking, which is a great start, but it doesn't continue into the flat at all. This flooring's all falling off in really bad condition, continues here into the sort of hallway area. This will be one of the bedrooms, which again, the theme continues. There's a bit of plaster and wallpaper falling off. You'd have to change that. And bedroom 2 here, which they're both of a good size, the bedrooms, but they just need a total overhaul and freshening up. And the bathrooms here again, put a new bathroom in there, it's fine, but at present, it's not looking the best. Into the kitchen, which, surprisingly, is a good size. It's dated, it seems to be stuck in the 70s a little bit, but you can turn it around, just take it out, put something new in, freshen it, modernise it, and I think you'd have a nice kitchen to work your magic when you're doing a bit of cooking. I'm going to explore.
Hey, hey, good looking. What you got cooking?
As it is, it wouldn't pass mustard with your Gordon Ramsays, but along with the rest of this flat, it is a great size and has plenty of potential. So into the lounge, which again it's a nice room, it's a nice size, it's in keeping with the rest of the layout of the flat. But these windows here, I thought these were double glazing, but they're not. They're single glazed windows, which you would have to replace, keep the heat in, keep the sound out. Along with your floors, bathroom and kitchen, your costs are starting to mount. That budget is starting to get bigger. So I would want to get this property as close to the guide price of £50,000 plus as I possibly could. But I do like it. whilst the costs are adding up, there are a couple of features in this masonette that I do like. First off, there's this balcony coming off the living room, which, weather permitting, could be a nice little sun trap. But if you want to lay out the picnic blanket, you also have shared access to this good-sized back garden. Even though this property has seen better days, I do think it's got a lot going for it. And like I say, if this sold for anything like the £50,000 guide price, it could be a great investment. But will a local estate agent agree with me?
First impressions of the property, it does need some work throughout, mostly cosmetic, needs completely redecorating. One of the things I did notice, which can be missed sometimes, is the windows are UPVC, but they're not actually double glazed, so I'd recommend those actually get replaced. And also possibly a tarting up or possibly actually changing the kitchen and the bathroom. Demand for this sort of property for letting would be very, very strong. There is a very, very strong rental market with a lot of outsiders coming into Telford as well as local people. In terms of sales, the sales side is very good, particularly for investors, because the yields in this area are very, very good for the actual purchase prices paid.
Sounds like a great investment then. Let's talk numbers. Rental first.
Once the works have been carried out to the property for rental purposes, I would suggest a rental valuation of £500 per calendar month.
And what about the sales market?
If this was placed on the open market for resale purposes, I would suggest a marketing price of £80,000.
I like this place and I think the layout works, but there's a lot of work to be done. New windows, new floors, and I would definitely put in a new kitchen and bathroom. This is a complete refurb. Let's see who wasn't afraid to get their hands dirty when it went to auction.
It's a first floor apartment with 2 bedrooms. It is leasehold and it is in need of modernisation. What's this, 40 to start me here? Got to be that, I think. 40 in the middle, thank you. £40,000. 41 can I see now? At 40,000. 41. 42. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. At £48,000. Right in the middle then, at £48,000. 49 anywhere else. If not, I'm selling it at £48,000 for the first time. £48,000 for the second time. 49, new bidder, 49, 50, 51, 52, sir, 52, 53, 54, 54, 55, 55, 56, 57, 58, 58, 59, 60, yep, 60, 61, 62, a half, 62 and a half, 63, another half, 63 and a half, 64, another half, no, 64 then, bids in the middle at £64,000, are we all done? £64,000 once then, £64,000 twice, third and final time, £64,000, in the middle then, 64.
After a bit of a battle, the successful bid of £64,000 belonged to seasoned property developer Ray. Regular viewers may recognise Ray as he's appeared on the show twice before, the last time being back in 2009. Ray bought the property on behalf of business partner Hugo, and it will be Ray who will be overseeing the project. Ray, it's nice to see you.
Thank you, Dan.
Tell us about the auction.
The auction was quite fine, actually. It was one of the quieter auctions we've been to in the last year. But yes, there were a few opportunities at this auction that I haven't seen in past auctions.
Ray actually bought 2 properties on auction day and is something of an auction veteran.
It's all about preparation, it's all about the mass. Emotion doesn't come into it. I'm not buying for myself to live in. This actually is for an investor friend of mine who is cash rich but time poor. He did come up and view this, but I think in the long term he's going to rely on me viewing the properties. I go to the auction and bid on his behalf. and then he pays me for my time and pays me for my time in renovating this property.
And what are you going to do with it, Ray? What's majorly needing to be done?
Everything.
Okay. List me everything. List me everything for us, Ray.
New bathroom.
Yes.
New kitchen. New carpets. New cooker. We're going to strip all the wallpaper. It's going to need replastering throughout. New front door, new interior door, another interior door, double glazing. So it's quite a major project.
So you mentioned new. Everything's got to be new. Everything's got to be taken out, starting again, skimming everything. Wallpaper's coming off. How much is that going to cost you?
Well, I've got a budget of about 12,000. I think I'd be disappointed if I go above that. We may well keep it well within the 12,000. But that still works quite well within the figures, with an 9% rental return and hopefully some capital gain as well.
And where is most of that going to go, Ray? You've got a £12,000 budget. Where's the majority going to be spent?
The kitchen and the bathroom are always the two big ones, because that's what the clients like. And if you present them with a nice kitchen and a nice bathroom, you're 3/4 of the way there to selling or letting your property. The skimming itself isn't going to be cheap.
It's time, isn't it, Ray?
Yeah, it's probably a good £800,000 to skim all the walls. So it's a combination of things. And we're also going to put blinds up around the windows and things like that.
So 12 grand?
Yep.
How long is it going to take you to spend that 12 grand?
About 6 weeks.
6 weeks from this to finish?
Yes, the minute you walk out, my people are walking in.
Is that cue to stop the interview?
No, we've got everybody lined up. I've got carpenters coming to give me quotes on Monday. I've got decorators that can move in on Tuesday. I've got a plasterer coming and give me a quote Monday. So we'll get on with it as quick as we can. It may take a little bit longer, but it shouldn't do.
Don't you worry about a thing.
Sounds like Ray has it all under control, and the key to getting everything done in 6 weeks is organisation.
It's all organised. It's as simple as that. It's all organised. Myself, I tend to project manage it. My job is to make sure that they've got the money, and I go and buy the materials, source the kitchen, that sort of thing, and making sure that the lads have got everything they need to do a good job.
Love the confidence, love the experience. I know you'll get it right.
Thank you,
Good luck,
Jim.
mate, good luck.
Cheers.
So, a regular to the show, Ray has got a job on his hands. He's got to skim the walls, he wants to put new flooring down, not to mention a new kitchen and a new bathroom. And he hasn't got a huge budget. But if anybody can do it, Ray can. You can find out how he gets on later on in the programme.
Still to come, this developer in London has been planning for quite a while.
Started probably when I was 14 years old, when I suggested some of the upgrades to my parents' house.
Whilst in Dawley, Telford, sounds like Ray's planned it all just right.
Unusually, I've hardly lifted a paintbrush or anything on this particular project.
Welcome back to South Wales and the town of Tonypandy, where I was getting quite excited about a very intriguing property.
£68,000 was the guide price for 2 shops and 3 flats. Oh, and a cellar. Wow.
No, I can't wait another minute.
I couldn't wait to have a look around these properties, and there was a lot to like. Though needing work, the shops were in decent condition and also had cellars underneath that looked a good size and had access from the outside. Upstairs, 2 of the 3 one-bed flats already had tenants, which meant there would be an immediate income for the new owners. This was looking like a good investment.
Need somebody.
Martin and Jackie certainly thought it would be a good investment when they bought the property for £77,000 at auction. But despite having tenants upstairs, they were worried about getting tenants for the shops.
So, on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident are you that you'll be able to rent the shops out?
Oh, 1. If I'm honest.
You might need somebody. You might need somebody too.
Yes, the couple will need to get those shops rented out if they want to maximise the potential profit of this place. But for the moment, they had around £1,500 to update the flats and the shops and were looking to get started as soon as possible. So, will there be 2 new shops on the high street of Pandy thanks to Martin and Jackie? Well, 6 months have passed and we're back to find out. There certainly are. They're bright, clean, and the new tenants have brought them back to life. Upstairs, the redecoration of the flat we saw last time is the sign that there are tenants living there, as there are now for all 3 flats. Time to catch up with Martin and Jackie to get their full story.
In the flat we're in here, there was just a little bit of decorating to do, wasn't an awful lot of work. The main work was done in the top floor flat, which was decorated throughout and carpeted as well. The other flat across the way, that was left as it was. There wasn't an awful lot to do with that. With the shops, because they'd been divided into 2 shops previously, the electrics hadn't been, so we needed to sort that out. So obviously you turn the lights in one shop and the other shop's lights come on, that sort of thing. So that was all swapped around, so it was done properly.
But what happened to Martin and Jackie's plan of possibly leaving the shops empty and concentrating on the income from the flats?
To be quite honest, when we took it on, we were going to not worry about renting the shops because we could see that the high street had a lot of empty shops, and so we weren't really going to worry about that. But then we found out about the business rates.
With the business rates, basically, if the shop's empty, you get 3 months exemption where you don't pay, and then after that, you're liable for the business rates even if the shop's empty, which we didn't realise.
Martin and Jackie decided to rent the shops out at a low rate, just enough to cover the business rates, which made it much more appealing for prospective tenants and left them much better off than leaving the shops empty.
For us financially, obviously we got an income and then we didn't have to pay the business rate, so it was a win-win for everyone, really.
Business rates are like the commercial property equivalent of council tax, only as Martin and Jackie found out, they're generally a lot higher, and it's the responsibility of the owner to pay them if the property is vacant. I think Martin's decision to ask for a lower rent in order to get tenants into the shops is a sensible one. As he says, everybody wins. But I think it's a good reminder that if you're buying any property, remember to find out about all the taxes and costs that you're liable for. Other than the electrics, Martin's done most of the work himself, but that does mean he's been on site every other day. Hopefully, though, that will have helped them keep to their budget.
Original budget was about £1,500. We went over it probably by about £600 purely because of the electrics in the shops and things, because obviously we didn't realise we was going to have to redo those. But for everything else, we was about where we should be.
The timescale was about 6 months, and I think that we've managed it in 6 months. There's still little bits to do.
We're getting there, we think. Fingers crossed.
Well, having spent £77,000 at auction and £2,100 on renovating it, let's see if some local property experts think Martin and Jackie need to keep their fingers crossed.
I think the property's not too bad. They've done some work to it, although the finish is a little bit basic, shall we say.
If I were the owner of these properties, I would have done exactly the same thing. Keep them separated. You can get more money renting out 2 smaller shops than you could do just renting out 1 concern.
Having spent a total of £79,100, what could Martin and Jackie expect were they to put all 5 properties on the market again?
If we're going to sell the whole job lot as a going concern, you would probably market this place at around £80,000 to £85,000.
I think if you were to sell the building as an investment with it fully let, you'd probably achieve a figure in excess of £90,000.
That would give the couple a pre-tax profit of up to £10,900. But Martin and Jackie bought this to rent the spaces out, so how do the figures look for renting? Let's start with the shops and then the flats.
The rental valuation on the 2 properties would easily achieve £300 to £350 per calendar month on each shop.
I think the flats would rent for about £300 to £350 per calendar month at the moment.
Those upper values would mean if all 5 units were filled, Martin and Jackie would get an income of £1,750 per calendar month, giving them a yield of over 26%. That's brilliant. So it all seems to have come good for Martin and Jackie, but they'd previously thought about applying to convert the cellars and the back of the shops into more residential space. Would they still consider it?
I couldn't really see in the future it'd really be much point changing it, because I think with the amount of people we've had trying to rent the flats and the shops, I think there's going to be a market there for quite a while.
Welcome to Forest Gate in East London. As the name suggests, there used to be gates here to prevent cattle from straying into Epping Forest, which once covered the whole area. These gates came down in 1881, and today there aren't as many trees or cattle, but there is a busy residential area with great restaurants, shops and transport links across the city.
There's nothing shaking but the leaves on the tree.
So let's see if I can see the wood for the trees for the property that was up for auction. Now, it's this 3-bed terraced house, and it had a guide price of £230,000 plus. I'm going to go in and have a good look around. A little bit scruffy on the outside. Oh, good morning. Wasn't quite expecting that. Now, on the inside, bit scruffy too. You can already see how the room would have been configured. There would have been a wall across here to create one room, perhaps a corridor down here, a second reception room over this side, although I quite like it open plan. It does give the feeling of a fantastic space. Now, something else that's really interesting, you've got a big dry cellar down there, so fabulous for storage. And right at the back of the property, this kitchen with this rather unusual little lean-to. So you could extend the property out here. Sadly, you've got no fabulous view of the garden, and I can't even get out into the garden today because we've got no keys and this door is well and truly locked. You've got a downstairs bathroom. I would like to see if we could move that upstairs. I would also like to think we could maybe have some patio doors or a nice window at the back with a door leading outside. So I would try and reconfigure this space here because at the moment it's not really working.
Yep, as problematic as the layout is, it wouldn't take a lot to sort. And if you could get a little bit of extra sunlight in with the access to the garden, well, this could be a great living space.
So upstairs here we have 3 bedrooms, 1 at the back. Wondering, could we put the bathroom in there? Is it worth losing a bedroom over? Another bedroom here. I have seen this done before where you slot the bathroom in along here between these 2 walls and you move the doorway along. So it could go in there, but you've got to weigh up the costs. Is it going to be worth it? And right at the front of the property, you've got your master bedroom. It's what you'd expect, really, this space, but very interesting wardrobes. Behind these, I'm not sure whether you can see. Let's try this side. It's a little bit awkward because they don't go all the way back. Look at this. You could have quite an interesting little fireplace here. Maybe a little feature in here. You've got to get rid of these polystyrene tiles, so you could tidy it up. It's just a little bit on the small side. So I'm yearning for that bit of extra space. Now, don't forget, you can always go up. Building a loft conversion can easily and quickly add living space, and it can add value to your property. But don't forget, it will mean you will eat into this landing area here, and you'll need to think about space for stairs up here, perhaps. But the good news is the precedent has been set along the road here, so this property can only go one way, which is up. But first of all, I need to go down because something's bothering me. Excuse me.
Up and down. Up and down. I can just imagine it. A lovely big master bedroom in the loft space at the top of the house, and then you could use the smaller bedroom here as a bathroom and still have another 2 bedrooms. But before I get all carried away, come outside and have a look at this.
Now, something that's just niggling me, I noticed it earlier. Take a look up there. A large, deep crack above that bay window. Huge. Now, this little end of terrace has possibly moved. Does it have signs of subsidence? Or is it just historical? These are all questions for a structural engineer, and I would be making that call as soon as possible if I were looking to purchase this house.
Well, hopefully any movement has been historical and that crack will be a simple fix. And with the opportunity to expand up into the attic, extra storage down in the cellar and a back garden, well, I think this terrace could be a winner. But what does a local estate agent think?
I think the loft conversion is an ideal opportunity with this property because of the way the hallway is. I'd take it up from the hallway, directly up, transverse the staircase into the loft. I'd put 2 bedrooms up there and an ensuite bathroom.
Wow, he's thinking even bigger than me, and that there's room enough in the attic to get not 1, but 2 bedrooms in. But without converting the attic, is there money to be made in this house, guided at $230,000?
Leaving the property as a 3-bedroom and just refurbishing it, I'd say you're going to be looking around about £325,000 to £340,000, and a rental value of around about £1,500 per calendar month. In terms of rental value with the loft conversion, you'd be looking somewhere in the region of about £1,800 to £1,900 per calendar month with the additional 2 bedrooms. Sale value, you'd probably be looking in the region of about £425,000 to £430,000.
This is a house with many options. You could either do a very simple surface spruce up, or at the other end, a root and branch overhaul with the property growing up into the loft. It all comes down to how much you want to invest and what sort of return you're hoping to get. So let's see who wanted to make this property blossom when it went under the hammer.
I move on now to lot 170. 3-bedroom house needed modernisation. Who wants to give me a start on this? 250 anywhere? What about 230 then? I'll try and help. 230 anywhere? 230 I've got. 235 anywhere? 235. 240. 240. 245. 245. Yes or no? 245. 245.
The bidding was slow, but it was steady and the price soon rose. We rejoined the bidding at $270,000.
270. 271. 272. 272. If not, at the front, reading all along, bid's £271,000. It's against you sitting down at the back on my right. 271 for the first, 272 nearly back in, 273. 274. If not, 273 for the first, 273 for the second, 273 for the third and final time. We all done? Sold 273.
And the bid of $273,000 came from Thomas. Thomas is an IT project manager, and this is his first development project. So I met up with him back at the property to find out what he had planned.
Thomas, congratulations.
Thank you.
So why was it this one in particular that stuck out enough for you to want to bid on it?
There's a space, mostly. It has a basement, which is a great addition, and it has opportunity to convert the loft. So...
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So what are you going to do to this house? Because currently, I mean, it's not a bad property. It does need upgrading. And why have you bought it?
We bought it as an investment, so we wanna convert it to HMO property, yeah.
So you don't see this as a good family house that you could let with a garden in a very up-and-coming area?
Yes, it could be, but return of investment is higher in HMO.
Houses of multiple occupancy, or HMO properties, require many more building regulations to be met before the council will grant a licence. While the return on HMO properties may be good, I do wonder if fulfilling all these regulations is a lot to take on for a first-time developer. But to be fair to Thomas, he has already spoken to people at the council and feels this is a good opportunity. So what are his plans for the conversion?
Definitely needs more bathrooms in here, and this living space can be converted into multiple rooms.
OK, so you're going to get 2 rooms downstairs, a kitchen at the back. What about upstairs?
Upstairs, we're going to keep the 3 rooms, 3 bedrooms, but we're going to squeeze in the bathroom.
So where are you going to squeeze in that bathroom?
There's a few possibilities. One in the front room, or the other possibilities in between the front and the middle room.
Yes. So you'll keep the bathroom down here as well?
Yes.
So you can have 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 2 rooms down here?
That's right, 2 rooms down here.
So tell me, Thomas, what are you going to do if you don't get permission and it doesn't work out? Do you have a plan B up your sleeve?
The other plan B, as you mentioned, is to renovate and put it back on the market and give a good yield as well.
Well, it's so good to hear that Thomas has a backup plan, but what about that crack? Does he think it's going to be a problem?
Did you notice the big crack above the bay window out the front?
No, I didn't, and I don't see that as a big an issue because I'm going to do major redevelopment.
So you think you're going to do such extensive work that it won't matter?
Yeah, I did have an inspection from inside if there is any damage, structural damage, but I didn't see it. So any cracks from outside will be superficial.
You know what, you'd be wise to speak to a structural engineer or somebody that might be able to advise you, because it is quite a deep crack. And I know after this little chat, you're going to go straight out there and have a look.
I'm probably going to deal with the experts about this.
Well, that's a good idea, Thomas. There's a lot of work to be done here. And, well, Thomas has given himself a budget of $15,000 and a timescale of 3 to 6 months. He's obviously keen to make a good profit once the work is done. But how involved will he be in the renovation process?
So tell me about the fact that you like to tinker with design.
Well, it started probably when I was small, 14 years old, when I suggested some of the upgrades to my parents' house. And yeah, it started from there. It's kind of interesting to see my ideas coming to life.
And do you absolutely love everything to do with starting a project, you know, from the beginning right the way through to the end?
The process is that's what this matters, not the end result.
So just watching how it evolves.
Yeah.
Thomas, good luck. I can't wait to see the outcome. I hope it all works out for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Thomas has got big plans for this place. An HMO is a lot to take on as a new property developer. And I'm a little bit worried he didn't notice that large crack above the window. So let's hope there are no other hidden surprises that might spring up along the way. Join me later and you can find out how Thomas gets on. Well, we've seen how one of the properties panned out on today's show, but what about the others?
Yes, let's see how 2 of our other auction buyers got on with their purchases.
Can't wait to find out. Time to head back to Dorley and Telford now. It was here on a chilly day that I had a look around this 2-bedroom masonette that had an attractive guide price of £50,000 plus. It was a well-proportioned flat with good-sized rooms and lots of potential. However, I did feel that money would need to be spent here. Along with your floors, bathroom and kitchen, your costs are starting to mount. That budget is starting to get bigger. So I would want to get this property as close to the guide price of £50,000 plus as I possibly could. But I do like it. The bidders also liked it on auction day, with 2 going head-to-head over this masonette.
In the middle then, 64.
The successful bidder with £64,000 was seasoned property developer Ray, who on this occasion had bought the property on behalf of his business partner and investor, Hugo. Ray would be overseeing the project and he didn't plan on wasting any time.
The minute you walk out, my people are walking in.
Yes, although there was a long list of jobs, Ray predicted a 6-week turnaround and a relatively tight budget of £12,000 on this project that was destined for the rental market. Almost 6 weeks to the day later, we've returned to see how this masonette has changed. The mustard kitchen of old has been replaced with fresh contemporary units and slick black tiles. From top to bottom, this masonette has been given a fresh start. New carpets, freshly painted and plastered walls, and double glaze installed throughout. Even those shabby stairs are now looking perfect. The masonette is looking absolutely ideal for the rental market, if that's still the plan. And another change here, which I wasn't expecting, is that Ray and his team have added another parking space at the front. Very handy indeed.
The work that we've carried out, if you start from the outside, we redid the parking area, laid decorative stones, cleaned that out. We put a new front door and fascia on. Inside the property, one of the big jobs was stripping all the wallpaper because some of it was wood chip. We had to plaster every single surface and we had to wait for the plaster to dry. So that probably took up to 2.5 weeks for that process to go ahead. From there, we've obviously decorated the whole of the property. We put in a new bathroom, fully tiled, new kitchen, new carpets. We've double glazed all the windows because they were single glazed, and every other ad hoc job that you can think of that would be needed to do a property up.
You've done it all. You've broken every code.
Ray and his team have licked this place into shape, and all within that 6-week timescale, which is really impressive considering the transformation. However, how is his budget looking?
The original budget was £12,000. We actually came in at £11,750, so we just made it. But included in that was my time. So if it was my own property, then the cost would be slightly cheaper. The main costs, as always, are in the bathroom and the kitchen, and obviously replastering a whole property wasn't particularly cheap. My role in the project was to project manage the work. Unusually, I've hardly lifted a paintbrush or anything on this particular project. I've had some really good workers working for me. My job is to make sure they've got the money, the equipment, the tools and direction that I want them to go in. And they followed my instructions almost to the letter, so I'm really pleased.
Ray's partner is purely an investor and trusts Ray to get the job done to time and within budget, which he clearly has, making this a successful project for both Ray and the investor. However, before we get too carried away, it's time to check the thoughts and opinions of 2 local estate agents on this property that, including the purchase price, has seen a total investment of £75,750.
I think the main selling point of here, I think, is definitely the kitchen and bathroom. If you can demonstrate that they've been done, I think they're really good selling points. But also for here as well, he's got off-road parking, so it tends to be a good selling point.
Kitchens have been replaced, bathrooms have been replaced, freshly decorated, new carpets, all been very well done. But overall, done to a very good standard for this type of property.
With the agents impressed, let's hear their sales valuations first.
I'd say probably resale value for here has been £75,000.
If you were to put this on the open resale market today, I would value this property at £79,950.
Slightly disappointed, not necessarily in their valuation, which I'm sure is true and honest. I usually feel I do a better job for my investors than just making a maximum of £5,000.
Oh dear, that top valuation of £79,950 would mean a modest pre-tax profit of just £4,200. But with the investor set on renting, let's hope those valuations are more positive.
For rental purposes, I'd say the property's worth in the region of £500 per calendar month.
I would anticipate a rental income of £525 per calendar month.
£525 per calendar month is what we've already got an offer for. It's not a sealed offer yet in the sense that they're still doing the credit checks, etc. But that's what I would expect to get. And I'm quite pleased because that gives us 8.5%. Again, not as much as I would normally like. We'd normally try for the 9, but I'm sure that my investor will find that perfectly acceptable.
Yes, at just under 8.5%, Ray has achieved a very healthy yield. And with his latest project complete, Ray is looking to the future.
My long-term objective is to make sure that I've got a decent pension pot, that I become self-sufficient on cash and time-rich so that I can enjoy my retirement.
Time to return to East London now, and this 3-bed terrace in Forest Gate. It needed a thorough modernisation, but it was roomy, and with both a cellar and a loft, it gave any developer a host of options.
Do anything you want to do.
However, I had spotted a crack in one of the walls outside, and I really hoped this wasn't a sign of a bigger issue. It was bought at auction for $273,000 by first-time developer Thomas. He had done his research and had a plan to maximise his profits.
We want to convert it to HMO property, yeah.
So you don't see this as a good family house that you could let in a very up-and-coming area?
Yes, it could be, but return of investment is higher in HMO.
Taking on a house of multiple occupancy is a big job. Thomas would need to construct a second bathroom upstairs and rebuild the original walls downstairs to create an additional room. But it's his choice, and he's absolutely right. There can be a good profit in HMO properties. He'd given himself £15,000 and 6 months to complete the project. How would the renovation rookie get on? Well, 8 months later, we're back to find out. Well, it's looking very different, but there's no getting away from it. It's not quite finished yet. It looks like something hasn't quite gone to plan. I wonder if it's anything to do with that crack I saw above that window outside.
Well, when we started working on the property, we found structural issues. The floors were not straight. The cracks in the walls also was part of the very old house settlement, so they had to fix it. So now the floors are level how it should be. Dampness was another major issue in this house. We had to strip all the current rendering and put a new one. So that was the other issue.
That's exactly what I was worrying about. But looking on the bright side, the building didn't need underpinning, so it could have been worse. And looking on the even brighter side, there are new windows, new walls, new staircase. You can even see a back garden now. Let's have Thomas talk us through the changes.
In this floor, we divided the bedroom, the large bedroom here, into the smaller bedroom and the bathroom. And we kept this bedroom the same size as it was before. Even though we added the new bathroom in here, we still have quite sizable bedroom. So I'm quite pleased with that.
Yes, I'm not surprised he's pleased. He's managed to squeeze a bathroom upstairs and still have 3 good-sized bedrooms. Downstairs, Thomas has taken out the old kitchen, split the bathroom at the back, and he'll install a separate shower room and toilet. He's got the second bathroom downstairs that he wanted too. So how about the rest?
Well, we built a partition in here, make the separate rooms. So this is going to be a living room, and the other one will be as a guest room.
A guest room? Hang on, I thought Thomas was planning on making this into an HMO. Have things changed?
Our family got a new member, so we have a little daughter, a second daughter. This is a bigger house than ours, so we probably not going to let it. We probably maybe live in ourselves.
That is wonderful news to hear, and I always thought this would make a great family home. But Thomas was intending on doing a lot of the work himself, and with the structural issues to sort and a new baby to look after, he had to hire tradesmen. So how has that affected his £15,000 budget?
We already spent about 45, and probably another, with the kitchen and everything, probably gonna go to about probably 55.
Ouch! Whoa, now that estimate is £40,000 more than his initial budget, on top of the £273,000 he paid at auction. But it's an investment for his family now, and by making all those changes, he could well have added value to the property. So we've asked along 2 local estate agents to see what they think of Thomas's development and see if there's opportunities for further developments to the building.
Having an upstairs bathroom is always a plus in a property, especially when the house is for a family. If the property is rented out, then again, a second bathroom is beneficial, so it is a plus.
Having seen the kitchen, I would personally extend it, and he has potential to do that as well. And if he would be looking to sell, that's what people are after. They like big kitchens.
As his development costs are already quite high, Thomas has put any extra development on hold for the moment, but he hasn't ruled it out for the future. So let's get some valuations based on the layout as it is now.
If this property will be let out as a 3-bedroom house, then the price will be in between £1,350 per calendar month and £1,450 per calendar month.
I would value this property from £1,600 to £1,700 per calendar month.
It could sell at a price in between £370,000 to £390,000.
I would say that it could be worth from £375,000 to £400,000.
We're still making above what we spent.
Thomas is absolutely right. Though it's been a lot of hard work, using those upper valuations, should Thomas want to sell, he could make a pre-tax profit of £72,000. But for now, this is to be Thomas's and his family's home, and he hopes to move in very soon. Does he have any plans after that?
Well, looking for the next gem. Once we found it, never know. Maybe we'll call you again.
Well, as you've just seen, investing in property can be a steep learning curve.
And we'll be back next time with more tips and advice.
Yep, so make sure you join us then for more Homes Under the Hammer.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you then.